let's talk about this TikTok guy. And he would do lives while he's out on his fishing boat. You know, they'd be gone for days on end. And suddenly, on his live feed, they were getting encounters from mermaids. And that you would hear them singing.
Yeah.
And it's the most haunting, scary sound. Like, this topic,
eerie.
when I researched it, like, it freaked me out.
I saw something swimming, but he's like, it swam up vertically. He's like, that's odd. Normally when you're fishing, things aren't like swimming up. They're swimming, you know, horizontal. He was like, so we caught whatever it was. We pull it in, and he said that it was half fish on the bottom, had a long tail, and the top was like a woman. He's like, I looked at my friend, and I was like, what is that? And he's like, my friend was like, you know what it is.
And while he was swimming, I think he was like maybe 9 or 10. And this mermaid, he sees this mermaid looking at him a few yards away under the water, screaming, like swimming back to shore, runs up to his grandmother, tells her what he saw. And she says she shushes him and she says, no, I've been seeing her since I was a little girl. She's super friendly and there's nothing to worry about. And for those of you who don't know, if you go on Google Earth and you go to the bottom of South America, in the ocean, there's this giant head of like a serpent that you can see. And people are speculating that that's possibly the Leviathan that's just down there and, I don't know, dormant, I guess? Well, I'm ready to dive deep into today's topic.
I can't wait. We're going to make a splash on this one.
Oh, yeah. We're definitely going to create some waves.
We're going to go deep on it. We're going to dive deep.
Dive deep. Yeah. So what are we talking about today, Kelly?
So today we're talking about mermaids, friend or foe?
Real or a myth? Let's find out.
Human eater or not? Little Mermaid?
Man seducer?
Disney version or the real version of the story?
Well, maybe the Disney version is the real story.
I don't know.
I mean,
I heard the real story is dark, you know?
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
Ariel actually was like a Black Widow. She would, I don't know if her name was Ariel in the Little Mermaid book, because it was a book, but I'm pretty sure, like, ate her.
Her, like, lover?
Yeah.
Like a Black Widow?
Is that like a praying mantis, a Black Widow?
Do they do that too?
Yes.
Weird.
I
No, I didn't know this. Oh. I didn't know it was a book, actually.
Yeah, I think it was a book, and then Disney, I think, made it into
movie.
A little cutesy movie.
Yeah, but it is dark, though, because Ursula and stuff, you know? So, Disney movies are always dark, though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel
Even though they're marketed towards children, there's always something super dark about them.
Yeah. Not subscribed to it.
No.
Not a subscriber.
I am, but...
To Disney?
Yeah.
You're
we used to not be.
I know.
Okay, no. Well, Disney Plus, is that what you mean? Or are you just meaning,
I just mean like Disney in general. I don't subscribe to Disney anymore. We used to. We used to be like big Disneyers.
Yeah.
Disneyers? I don't know.
Same. Well,
anyways.
Okay, so let's get into this. There's so much to talk about. When we decided we were going to talk about this, we were both blown away at how much information there was out there. Like, truly could not get enough of what was out there and what people were saying across the world. What I find very interesting is that there are cultures today, a lot of them, that believe mermaids are real. And it's a part of their culture. And they, even some of them, will worship marine spirits. So if that sounds weird to some people, it sounded weird to me too at first. But basically what that means is that there is a spiritual realm that can also manifest physically, but it's in the deep. It's in the depths of the ocean. And the Bible talks about this. And so in the Western world, like, it's definitely all fantasy, you know, it's mythology. It's in a kid's Disney movie, and that's where it exists. But it's very real to a huge population and
worldwide.
Yeah, worldwide.
Yeah.
So that was like very interesting to me, and definitely helps give it some validity. Also, I think we've explored like 5% of the ocean at this point. So, you know, you can't really say there's not something like a mermaid that's out there, right?
I mean, there's like drawings on cave walls, and It would be different if like the stories were sporadic and completely different, but it's like different countries all over the world that really have no, ways of like communicating from what we're told, right? Their stories are all the same. They all line up.
Yeah.
So
It's consistent.
it is.
And even to people today, like people that, let's say, like some of the people I listened to were like pastors in Africa. And like in Africa, this is a very big thing. Or down in like Honduras or, some South America.
Yeah.
And all their stories and information that they're putting out, it's consistent. They're all saying the same thing. So that tells me there's probably some truth to it.
Right. Yeah, it's super interesting because I like wrote this down because I thought it was so interesting. So they were doing construction, and I want to get this right. So let me make sure I have this. Yeah, so it was in Zimbabwe in 2012, and it said that construction worker crews were working at 2 separate dam sites in Zimbabwe, and they were being harassed and physically attacked by mermaids living in the water. This wasn't just a local rumor. It reached Zimbabwe's House of Assembly, and high-ranking government officials confirmed the stoppage of the dam and admitted traditional healers were being brought in to appease the water spirits. So despite pressure, the workers when it returned until the ceremonies and rituals were completed.
Wow.
And then once those were done, they didn't have any more incidents with these water spirits, mermaids.
Yeah. So what do you make of that story, right? It's like you read that, and if you had that many witnesses and it made it all the way up to like the government level, and then they had to bring people in to do an exorcism, for lack of better terms, right? And then everything was fine.
Yeah.
That's like, whoa, that's a story. There's something to that, right?
Right. It's news. It wasn't just like 1 or 2 people were like, oh, like I'm being harassed by a mermaid. No, it like went up the ranks, all the way up the ranks in the government, where they literally had to bring people in. Wow. So it's crazy.
Yeah. And these are the kind of things that we're finding in our research. And there's a lot of people that work in deliverance ministry, which is where they help get people free of demonic oppression or possession. And they sometimes have to address these demonic entities as their marine spirits. Like there are demons that inhabit the land, and there's demons that inhabit the water. And the Bible talks about, the Leviathan and Dagon, and those Leviathan's like a sea serpent, a monster. And Dagon is a half man, half fish god that the Ninevites, for example, worshipped. And there's still sculptures of him today. And in fact, it actually makes the story of Job become more to life, because it wasn't just a random thing that God had him swallowed by a fish. Right? Because God sent him to go to Nineveh to preach the good news and tell them to turn from their ways. And Job, of course, tried to run away, and God had different plans and had him swallowed by a fish.
Or Jonah. Sorry.
Jonah!
Sorry.
Thank you. I knew you're looking at me like there's something wrong you're saying.
I know what you're saying. Jonah.
Okay, Jonah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I knew
Jonah
what
and
you
the
meant,
fish.
yes.
Thank you, but appreciate the correction. So Jonah, he gets swallowed by the fish, and then he gets spit out in Nineveh. And that's significant because the Ninevites worshipped Dagon, the fish god. So to them, they were definitely going to listen to anything that Jonah had to say.
Right.
Right? So I don't know.
They're like, you smell fishy. We trust
or
you.
maybe there was witnesses at the shore.
Yeah. Watched him get spit out. Yeah.
Yeah, I've thought of that. So possible.
Makes sense. I mean, and also like another story is like when the man that was possessed by the legion of demons, like the demons were like, please don't like cast us out. Like, let us go into the pigs. They go into the pigs, and then immediately the pigs run and drown in the water.
Yeah. So what I think is that these marine spirits, to be on land, they have to have a vessel, which is a physical body. So a human or an animal. And to be out of the physical vessel, that body, they have to go back into the water, which would make sense that they begged Jesus, please send us into the pigs, because they could then control the pigs to then get themselves back into the water.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, I don't really know how that works. Yeah, I mean, and some of the things, since we're talking about this, like Pastor Vlad, he talked about some of the signs of like the marine spirits, like oppression wise. Like, I don't know, I feel like maybe we could cover some of that too. So it's like, what does it even look like if you're struggling or battling, a water spirit? It sounds weird to say, but then it's like, well, It sounds weird, but then once you get free of it, you're like, there's no denial. You can't deny that like something's different, that you're different, you know? And so he basically just talked about like some of the signs that marine spirits are tormenting you are witchcraft attacks resulting in misfortune in your life, including road accidents, untimely deaths, failure in examinations, lack in promotion, barrenness in women, impotence in men, poverty and inability to get married, constant sexual dreams, marital problems, sudden hatred and rejection in relationships, reoccurring water-related nightmares, fear of seeing mermaids or water spirits in visions and in dreams. He said these misfortunes are equally associated with the spirit mommy water.
Yes, mommy water.
Yes.
And that's an African term, right? It's what they call the, I guess, goddess of the sea, would you say?
I think so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, I feel like mermaids in general are always kind of like represented in like sexuality or some sort of a tie coming to humans, right? Like that's always, even the Little Mermaid, like that is what happens there,
I
too.
mean, she is longing to be on land, right? To be with the humans.
Right.
And then she sees a sailor who's out to sea. And there's sailors that talk about having encounters with mermaids and they sing to them and they try to lure them into the water and it happens. And then Ariel, gets approached by Ursula, who is the sea witch.
Yeah.
And
you got a crazy thing to share with you on
we
that.
do,
Yeah.
yes. And she has to basically sell her soul, which is her voice in the movie, right? So she gives up her voice. And then she's able to have, human legs. And then she, kind of seduces and makes him fall in love with her. And so I don't know. There's a lot of correlation between what people say mermaids do and the spiritual side, especially like the sexual side of it, and Little Mermaid.
Yeah. Speaking of Little Mermaid singing, can we talk about how creepy it is to hear, like,
oh my gosh.
Again, like, can we prove this is real? No, but the fact that he was out in the middle of the
Let's get into this guy. Okay.
Yeah, let's talk about this.
Let's talk about this TikTok guy. So there's a man, I think it was in 2021, or I'm going to look this up, but he is a fisherman off of, was it Massachusetts?
He was East Coast. Yeah, East Coast, kind of by Nantucket, I think.
Yeah.
So,
and just a normal guy. He had a TikTok channel, and he would do lives while he's out on his fishing boat. They'd be gone for days on end, and suddenly, on his live feed, they were getting encounters from mermaids, and that you would hear them singing.
Yeah,
and it's the most haunting, scary sound. Like. This topic,
eerie.
when I researched it, it freaked me out. Like, it's kind of creepy. If you guys don't know, it's Sauce90 on TikTok. And I remember coming across his stuff like 2 years ago. And I honestly was very skeptical. I'm like, I don't know, maybe this guy's just doing this to, create something for himself, and get popularity. But then we just listened to, both of you and I, of his interview with Scare Bear on YouTube. And after that episode, I'm totally sold on his story.
I think it was real. I mean, and his things were live. I think the one that freaked me out the most was he was out in the sea, working, on his boat.
Sorry.
There was a crab, and he's like, you don't belong here. And he, throws it into the water, be free, little crab,
Yeah, so he's on a boat at night doing a live. He's walking around the boat just talking to his camera, and he sees this crab on the deck. And he's like, oh, you don't belong here, Mr. Krabs. He's just being funny. So he picks up the crab and he throws it over the boat in the water, which you see. It goes over. He filmed it.
Yeah.
And then he turns back around. He keeps talking. And all of a sudden you hear this thud.
Yeah.
And he turns around and the crab got thrown back up out of the water into the boat.
It literally come up and over the side of the boat. It's not like somebody could have thrown it because there was nothing on the other side of the boat where it came from.
It was so creepy.
It was.
And it creeped him out. He was freaking out.
So creepy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So then he would keep going out to sea for work and he would keep having these encounters with them. A couple of times it looks like he got them on camera. But she would sing to him. And then she even said, jump for me. And she would say his name too, which I think is Ryan.
Oh, I didn't hear that part. Okay.
So yeah, super creepy stuff. So then his stuff went viral, of course. And shortly after it went viral, he shows up to his boat one day to go out, and the government was there, and they set up a lab on his boat. And this is all on his TikTok, you guys. If you look it up, like he's got a whole highlight reel
They
on
rated
all of
everything.
these. They rated everything. They set up a weird lab. You know, they wouldn't let them in, and kind of just took over the boat. And then shortly after that, he was driving to, I think, his boss's house at night, and it's through a wooded area, and he was going to go pick up his paycheck. And as he's driving, this car just runs him off the road. He crashes off, and the car just leaves him, like keeps going. Broke a bunch of ribs, all these things, left for dead. Thankfully, he didn't die. But, you know, his suspicion, which he can't prove, but he's like, I don't know. Like, some part of me feels like they were attacking me. I was under attack.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it seems likely. And you also have to share, like, he had this weird bone. I think it looks like it could have been like
a mermaid tail.
Like the fin part at the bottom. Anyways, he had that in his car with him. He said that, like, it had got kind of drug up when they, you know.
Yeah, so what do you call it? Dredging. Yeah. So he took this bone and he took it to the whaling museum where he lives.
Yeah.
And he's, again, has this all on video. He takes it to an expert and he gives it to him and he's looking at it and he's like, I've never seen anything like this. I don't know what it is. He starts making phone calls. He's taking video. He's taking pictures of it.
He's like, can we keep it?
Yeah, he wanted to keep it. And of course, he was smart enough to be like, no, it's mine.
Yeah, you'd never see that again.
Yeah, you would never see it,
way
which
of
he knew.
The Nephilim bones.
Exactly. The Smithsonian would have taken it over and hid it, just like the giant bones. So, yeah, I mean, all this is documented. All of it's on his channel. And yeah, after listening to his whole like hour-plus long interview with Scare Bear, I was like, oh my gosh, like I totally believe this kid.
Yeah.
Like completely.
Yeah. So
like he's been through so much.
I know, it's wild. So I mean, I guess if he watches this, we'd love to like have him come on and like give us an update on like, hey, what's going on?
Would love an update.
Yes. Be amazing.
I know he has the tailbone. And in his house, by the way, on his shelf, which you and I are both like, no, don't tell people where you have it because someone's going to come get it.
I know.
Yeah, go put it in an undisclosed location because that's the kind of stuff the government will come take from you. Yeah. So, yeah, you keep talking. I'm going to try to find this video of the singing of the mermaids. Yeah. It's terrifying.
Find the video. But also just circling back to the crab one more time because I was so freaked out by it. I showed my husband and he was like, do you think that's why Ariel had a crab on the Little Mermaid?
Think about that. Oh, yeah.
I know. So maybe there's a tie.
Okay, well, if a flounder flies up next, then we know for sure they were onto something. Yeah, okay. It's going to take me a minute to find it. Sorry, I should have pulled it before.
Good. So we can kind of just also talk about like old maps. Did you do any digging into like old maps? How like very old maps will also have mermaids and they have all sorts of other creatures.
And they're on the front of ships all the time too.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, where does that come from? And like you said in the beginning, they have cave drawings or sculptures or statues. There's books written about them for thousands of years. Like, they're probably real, you know, but just you won't see them often. I'm sure they're just way out there, way in the deep, and they would reveal themselves when they want to.
Maybe.
Right?
I don't know. I mean, I think I told you about the story of he was like in the Navy and he had retired and basically he kind of did contract work still. I'd have to find the reference for it, but it was super interesting. I went through so many stories trying to like weed out, is this real? Could this possibly be real? But anyways, this guy does contract work and he just took odd and end jobs here and there, making some money. And he had a son who was getting ready to graduate and he takes a job and they go out and they're going to push off in the morning. He's like, I thought that was weird, but I didn't think anything of it. And so we go out to push off, it's a boat. He's like, I figure we're just going to go deep sea fishing, pull in some big fish, do something. I don't know, just kind of standard routine. And he's like, so we go out. He's like, this boat is heavily like armed. It's got like a winch on it that's super heavy duty. The cables on it are industrial. And he's like, none of the crew is like laughing, joking. They're all just super serious, like just very stoic. And he's like, this is weird. I've never seen this before. So he gets on the boat. He had to sign like the NDAs, like the non-disclosure agreements. And then he was given a pair of like noise canceling headphones and was basically told like, be prepared to put these on. And he's like, why? What are these for? And they're just like, just standard, like policy and procedure. Just be ready to put them on. They go out and all of a sudden he hears them yelling like, put the headphones on. And he said, right before I put it on, he's like, it sounded like a woman's voice. He was like, I was so confused. And then he's like, I thought I heard my son, like, calling for me. He's like, so I put him on and cancels out most of the noises. He's like, one of the crew members, like, on the ground, trying to rip his headphones off. Two of the guys are, like, on top of him, trying to keep, like, his headphones on, you know, trying to restrain him from taking them off. And they start reeling something in. He's like, I saw something swimming, but he's like, it swam up vertically. He's like, that's odd. Normally when you're fishing, things aren't like swimming up. They're swimming, you know, horizontal. He was like, so we caught whatever it was. We pull it in. And he said that it was half fish on the bottom, had a long tail, and the top was like a woman. He's like, I looked at my friend and I was like, what is that? And he's like, my friend was like, you know what it is.
Crazy.
I know. And then the mermaid, I guess, looked at him and was like, how's your son Tyler? I think that's what the son's name was. And apparently they only can catch one at a time because they're just so strong.
Like, gives me goosebumps. It's so scary.
I know. And so then they kind of had this, like, I don't know what it was, but it was some kind of like tool that looked like a cattle prod or something to like get it to be silent, and it kind of like stopped talking. And then after that, he got off the boat, never wanted to be in water, didn't like taking baths, wouldn't go near the oceans. He had perpetual just like ringing in his ears and nightmares. And his son basically was like, I want to join the Navy. And his dad was like, absolutely not. And his mom was like, well, if he wants to, it's fine. And so this is like when he's telling his son this story, kind of like, my life's ending. I've got to tell you this. You know, I'm going to die soon. And so he's like, this is why I don't want you to join the Navy. And he like shared the story with him, like on his deathbed. It was kind of like a deathbed confession. But it's like things like that. It's like, why would you share that? And like, why would you radically change your life from being like, I never want to go in the water. I don't even want to take a bath. Like, so things like that, it's just, that's unexplainable to me. It's like, you have nothing to lose at that point, except for like, you're going to look like you're crazy. So why would you share that story if it wasn't true?
Yeah.
You know?
No, I agree.
So,
you know, you hear about the stories of the fishermen's coming into ports and they probably, you know, go straight to the bar and they start drinking and they start telling these crazy stories. And, you know, why would you do that? Why would you want to be seen like crazy or, you know, like a nut job? And then a lot of them all have the same stories. Like, are they all hallucinating the same thing? Like, I doubt it. Like, they're probably experiencing very similar phenomenons and don't know how to explain it. And they come in and they're like, you're not going to believe this. And they tell the story. And
I know.
a lot of people probably don't, you know, like, oh, wow, crazy drunk, you know, sailors just running their mouth.
Yeah,
like,
but why do they all look the same? Most of the people describe them looking the same. Pale skin, dark purpley hair, like eyes
big
that
eyes.
are just black.
Yeah.
And like, that was the other thing he said. He said that the mermaid, or whatever you want to call it, the Navy guy, he was like, it looked like a wild animal. Like, you know how wild animals, like, eyes don't focus, you know, when they're caught, and it's kind of just like, yeah, so
animal eyes.
Kind of.
Okay, I think I found the video.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry that took a minute.
Let's play this.
I hope it's the right one. Okay.
So spooky.
Hope that's okay. We're using your stuff. Sauce. He's on the boat. So this is all live.
Crazy.
Makes my skin crawl.
Hang on, here we go. This is the next one.
This is crazy. I heard it. I heard it. I hear it. Oh my God.
Makes my skin crawl.
I just not the one where it says jump for me, though. That's the wrong one.
Okay,
he had multiple encounters.
You still kind of get an idea of like the sound, though.
Like, and it's not a whale. It's something different. And you could, in a few other videos, it sounds really humanistic, like human-like, like that's a woman. But it's like a weird, I don't know, like a hybrid of a woman and like a creature. I don't know. It's weird, but it speaks to him too. It's really creepy.
That is creepy.
So,
I think he mentions too, I would love to have him on here, but I think he mentions that it like followed him
all the way to
shore.
shore. It did, because you could hear it screaming.
He said he was like a couple hundred miles from, like he was out in the ocean.
Yeah, there's a video.
Miles out, right?
Yeah, there's a video where they come into port. Yeah, because they go way out there. And there's a video where he comes into port and he's filming, and I think it was live too, and you could hear it like screaming at him, and it's so loud, and he's on the dock, and he's got some of his crew members still on the boat, and he's filming. He's like, "Oh my gosh, do you hear that?" to his crew member. And his crew member throws his hands up like, "I don't know what the heck that is." Like, it's super weird.
Ugh.
Yeah, so, and then he talks about how, similar to the story you were just saying about the man that had the encounter on the fishing boat where they caught one. Yeah, after having this, mermaid come in contact with him so many times, he started having to go to therapy, I think he said. Like, couldn't get the sound out of his head. Like, started having nightmares and things like that. So, yeah, like, there's something demonic for sure. And, like, when it comes to the Bible, in the book of Enoch, it says that the human women that mated with the Watchers, which are those angels that came down and created the Nephilim, so birthed the giants, were sentenced to the depths of the ocean, and they were turned into Sirens, which is another name for mermaids.
Yeah.
So,
and for people
if the
that wanna...
Bible says that, or, I mean, it's in Enoch, which used to be part of the canon. But
right. Yeah. I mean, if people want to look it up, too, it's like Enoch 19 verse 2.
There you go.
Because, I mean, I like to have references for things, but yeah, it's wild. Like, the Bible talked about it, right? I mean, and people argue it's not in the canon, but there's also a reason why I think it was preserved in the Ethiopian Bible, found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. I think there's a reason why this is preserved,
Yeah, and I could see why they want to take it out, because
it fills in a lot of blanks.
Fills in a lot of blanks. Yeah, exactly. And the writers of the Bible reference the book of Enoch multiple times.
I think Jesus references it, like himself. So it's obviously, it was a well-known text back then even. So
yeah, no. And let's get back into the deliverance. So it was Dan Duvall, right, who interviewed,
oh my gosh, yes,
a woman that does delivery ministry, and one of the girls she worked with, Priscilla, that's right. She's from Amsterdam.
I think she was from the Netherlands.
Netherlands. Yeah, Netherlands. So she talks about how she was part of the, what do you call that? Like, satanic ritual abuse program from a baby to, she was bred into this.
Yeah.
And that they would do rituals to her and torture her by drowning her in water. And they would do it over and over again in this big tank. And eventually what they would do is let her drown completely. And so her spirit would leave her body, and then they would resuscitate her and bring it back. And that's what they do to train these people. And yeah, one of the times that she had drowned, they're holding her under the water. She was, I don't know, like, she encountered a spirit, right? Is that right? That gave her the ability to breathe underwater. So she would have these encounters with the spirit while she's drowning, and that would give her breath, and then she would come back up and she would be alive. Well, after doing this so many times, she was dunked in this tank again, and she was drowning, and the spirit wasn't showing up, and instead her body just started to morph. She says,
I think the spirit at that point was just like fully in her.
Maybe it was in her.
And she
That's
was
a good
just
point.
Kind of like let it take over. That's kind of what.
Okay, that
I
makes
got the
sense.
feeling of, but I could be wrong.
But she says, a tail came out and her skin got slippery and they lost grip of her, and then she was breathing underwater and she was a flippin' mermaid.
I know.
It's like,
I know. It feels unbelievable, but at the same time, it's just like.
But like, how to have such a detailed, emotional story and testimony, why would you make that up?
Right.
She's a mom now. She's a wife. Why would you put your face out there and tell this horrific story of what's happened to you if it wasn't true?
Right.
And the woman that worked with her, she deals with these quote unquote marine spirits all over the world with different people, and they're real. And Priscilla, the girl that turned into a mermaid, she talked about how she was sent on missions in the ocean. They would use her to go down, and there's kingdoms under the water and other mermaids. And then she talks about how there's rankings.
Yes.
And how, like, to go from like a mermaid to like to grow like what do you call that, tentacles?
Yes.
Like Ursula?
Yes. And that's the crazy thing, because she was like, if you have a regular tail, you're basically kind of just bottom of the totem pole. But once you do so many things and make so many agreements with these like darker entities, you get and also go through like certain rituals and stuff, which sound pretty dark from what she kind of was alluding to. Yeah, you become a queen, and that's when you get tentacles.
Yeah.
So again, like just kind of referencing back to the Little Mermaid, it's interesting because I feel like it's like they know so much more than what they want you to believe. Because it's like, if I were going to make a movie, I wouldn't have thought like, oh, I'm going to make the bad person have tentacles.
Right.
Like that is not a thought that would have crossed my mind. And I feel like I'm a pretty like creative person. Like, I don't know. Is that something that you would have been like,
No.
yeah, I'm going to make.
Well, like, yeah, it's like you explained to me that the Little Mermaid was a book, but like the whole story of the Little Mermaid, it's like odd to just like make up.
I would have to go back and I would have to look into
probably
the
is.
book and see if it mentions maybe that in the book or if that was just like a liberty that they took in making the movie.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of telling.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So anyways.
Yeah,
sorry,
so her
derailing.
story, no, like her story was yeah, again, like it was like a 2-hour long episode. Like
There were like
wasn't it? It was
4 parts.
Yeah.
4 or 5 parts.
I didn't even finish them all.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was incredible. Like,
So
I
again,
mean,
like how could you have that much information and so much to say if it was just made up?
mhm,
Like how?
right.
I don't know. Like
Well, she talked
part
about
of me
going
really
to
is
like
believing
Antarctica, and she talked about just how like her body changes, and if like she wanted to go even deeper, like she had to make different agreements with different entities at different depths of the like ocean, you know, because she was like, once you go so deep, like the pressure is just so like strong, which we
Mhm.
know this. I mean, we have proof of this.
Yeah.
And so she was like, yeah, I'd have to make an agreement or do something or marry an entity or whatever you want to call it
To
in
gain the
order
power.
to get the power to go deeper and to, you know, climb the ranks basically.
Yeah, I remember her saying when she would go to
Mhm.
like cold water, like the
Mhm.
Antarctica, she
Yeah.
would get like blubbery.
Yeah.
Like a seal or like a
walrus.
a
or-
walrus.
I don't know if she said walrus. Maybe seal.
But something like that, like where
where you can stay warm
she
in
would-
that temperature.
Mhm.
Yeah.
so wild.
It is wild.
So I don't know. And then it's like, okay, it makes sense if you go back to like Genesis 6 in the Bible where they were doing experiments by making hybrids,
Mhm.
hybrid animals, human and animal hybrids. I mean, you
that's
look at
why
all the
Noah and
depictions.
the flood happened.
Exactly. Everything
I mean,
was.
that's what I believe.
I do too.
biblically.
Yeah.
So,
Well, then if you think about it, if they were already water creatures, the flood wouldn't have done anything.
right.
So they would still be there.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even
Mhm.
think about
They
that.
would survive.
Creepy.
Yeah.
I mean, in Revelations does talk about how like there will be no sea. So
like it all dries up.
Yeah. It basically there's no sea in like the new earth and new heaven.
Yeah. Interesting.
That is
There's something to the deep. There really
I
is. You
know.
know, when Jesus walked on the water and there was a storm and he calmed
Mhm.
it, there's more to it than just him calming the water,
Mhm.
you know, and saving all the men in the boat. He was, I think, walking over the water spirits and claiming dominion and control
Yes.
over them.
So good. Yeah.
There's something to that.
I think so.
Mhm. Like there's a lot of Bible verses that talk about everything that goes on under the ocean.
Mhm.
We reference some right here. But again, like if the Bible is talking about this and there's cultures around the world that full-heartedly believe this, like why couldn't it be true?
I know.
Who knows what's down there? Like again, 5%, that's all we've explored.
Right. And at this point, it's kind of like things that we're told are fairy tales seem to be real. And the things that we're told are real are the fairy tales. So,
Yes. Yes. Okay. So we're going to go to, Psalm 74:13 says, "You divided the sea by your strength. You smashed the heads of the dragons of the sea."
Mhm.
So to me is like a sea serpent, right? And the Leviathan
Mm.
is a sea serpent or dragon. The Bible talks about, Rahab. But there's 2 Rahabs in the Bible, but this one, it's a monster of the deep who's linked to Egypt and rebellion. And the beasts of the sea,
Mhm.
that is also a reference in the Bible. There's, and then Dagon, of course, which is the fish god. Here's another verse, Philippians 2:10, that at the name of Jesus, every knee should bow in heaven and on earth and under the sea. So whose knees are going to bow under the sea? Somebody.
Somebody or something.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting.
I know.
So interesting.
Yeah, so there's a lot of, you can just Google on your phone Bible verses that reference, anything to do
Water.
with the water.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So, yeah, speaking of Leviathan, not that we have time to go deep into that, but since you mentioned that, I did Google Earth that. And if you look down by South America, it legit does look like a giant, like, Leviathan head.
Yeah.
Or sea serpent.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, if you go on Google
Mhm.
Earth and you go to the bottom of South America,
Yeah.
in the ocean, there's this giant head of like a serpent that you can see. And people are speculating that that's possibly the Leviathan that's just down there and, I don't know, dormant, I guess?
I guess, yeah.
I don't know. It's super
I don't know.
strange.
There's lots. I don't know. I haven't dug too deep into that, but I thought that was so.
It's kind of going around right now,
eerie.
though, like
Yeah.
online, like viral. So we'll see.
We'll see.
We're
What
like, is it gonna wake up? I don't know. Honestly, like nothing would surprise me though.
I
Like,
know.
yeah, it might as well happen.
I know.
I mean,
Doesn't surprise me.
No.
Yeah.
so, but yeah, I mean, there's even I love Google Earth, but Mud Fossil University, he's on
Oh,
YouTube.
yes.
He goes into things that were left over from the mud flood or the flood, right? Like there's
Mm-hmm.
creatures and things that you could see that are petrified. And in, I think it's Morocco, it looks like a giant dragon that's been dead.
Okay.
And then there's a giant fish right below it. And you see it in Google Earth, which is weird.
That is weird.
And he goes over all like where you could see the top of the dragon, you could see its mouth open, the tail, the fish has scales, the dragon's got little dragon scales. Like
Okay.
it's so strange. And it's huge.
Oh, my.
Absolutely huge. And then during our research, we came across a video of Google Earthing the west coast of America. So like California, basically. Remember that? It
I'm
goes
trying to
California up to Oregon and it looks like a
Oh,
mermaid.
Yes. It does look like a mermaid.
It's really weird.
I mean, that would be a giant mermaid.
That would be ginormous. But I just think it's funny.
It is funny.
I was like, well, dang, now I can unsee it. I used to live on a mermaid. I don't know. Being in California. But like, I don't know if that's that could just be like totally just random and coincidental, but it would have been like a huge mermaid.
I mean, giant mermaids. There were giants, I guess.
There were, but
Could
that's
there
like
be
really giant.
mermaids.
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I just think there has to be truth to this because there's just too much out there. And it's like we were saying, like the information's so consistent with what people are saying. And the Bible, I don't know. It's like now I'm like, wow, like again, the Bible's just coming back to life.
Right.
When you look into these topics, it's like it makes everything make so much sense.
Yeah. And even kind of just thinking about like generational curses or generational things. Remember that story we talked about? And was it a little boy or a little girl that was on the beach and they saw the mermaid?
Yeah.
You were telling me about it.
Yeah, this story I read.
Yeah.
It was actually, I think it was just in like the comment section of a
Okay.
YouTube video. And he was talking about how it was somewhere in South America, but he was with his grandmother and she took him to a cove and it was just him and his two grandparents. And he went out swimming. And while he was swimming, I think he was like maybe 9 or 10. And he sees this mermaid looking at him a few yards away under the water. And he's stunned at first, and then he starts freaking out, screaming, like swimming back to shore, runs up to his grandmother, tells her what he saw. And she shushes him and she says, no, I've been seeing her since I was a little girl. She's super friendly and there's nothing to worry about and all this. And I'm like, whoa, weird. And then there was another story I read of this woman who was on vacation somewhere. And she was on the water and she got pulled down by one, like it wrapped its hand around her ankle, pulled her under the water. She ends up getting let go. She sees the mermaid briefly during this altercation. And then years later, she is in California, I think it was, and she was walking the beach. And she's walking the beach and she looks out at the water and she sees this woman's head come up out of the ocean, a little far out. And it's the same, like she recognized this person, like the mermaid. And it was staring at her.
Where was she at the first time?
I don't know. I had to look that up. But it wasn't in California. It was like somewhere totally different.
Oh my gosh.
And she said,
I find you.
That's what she said. Yeah. She's like, I feel like she was stalking me. And she's like, I've never gone to the beach again. Like, she's like, I am so terrified.
I wouldn't either.
Never.
No.
Yeah.
I'm almost just like, I love the beach, but I don't ever typically get in the water.
Well, after this, like learning about mermaids and stuff, I'm like, they're going to know that I know. They're just going to know. And then they're just going to be like, yo, what's up? And I'm going to be so scared.
But
I don't know. Like,
do they take women though? Because I feel like in all the
they try to take that one. I don't know. Men. Yeah, they do try to go after men.
But they didn't kill her. Like,
no.
They let her go.
Maybe then, yeah, that's true.
So I don't know.
Yeah. So men beware.
Yes. They have like a vendetta against men.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's to something to do with like breeding. It's like, I know that sounds weird, but
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
like Starbucks. Let's talk about Starbucks.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
Starbucks.
What does coffee and mermaids have in common? Nothing.
Nothing.
Why would you start a coffee company with your logo as a mermaid?
Holding her fishtail legs.
Yeah, and then her fishtail is split,
Mm-hmm.
and she's holding it up. And if you go back and look up the Starbucks logo from back when, you used to see her whole body with her split tail.
Mm-hmm.
And over the years, they have slowly zoomed in to now you don't see it as much.
So it kind of just looks like a border now.
Yeah.
But just know that that's her tail.
That's her tail. She's splitting in half.
Yeah.
Yes.
But they have statues like that. It's based off a statue that they like dug up. Because it's like this old statue and it's literally like a mermaid holding her tail.
Like split in half.
It's
like,
for fertility of some sort. They kind of decided.
So why did they put that on a coffee?
I don't know.
Like company. It's so weird. Yeah. But again, like there's just, why do we have mermaids everywhere? Why are they all over the world? Like just like so many other creatures, you know, like you have to think, well, they're probably were real because like people today aren't any smarter or more level-headed than people 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago. Like people weren't just making things up. Like they weren't sacrificing their babies to nothing. Like they were real entities and real gods.
There was real power behind it.
There was.
You know? I think that there was a dark power that came from doing those things.
Yeah.
So
like, and again, like people worship these water spirits today. Like in Africa, it's huge. They go into the water and they worship them and they pray to them.
Oh, so this was crazy too. Like they leave their babies in the water.
Yes.
And then if the alligators eat it, then it's a sacrifice. But if the alligators or crocodiles don't, or the hippos, then it's because they've been chosen.
Yes.
By the animal.
Which makes you go back to Moses.
Yes. Let's talk about that.
Okay. So he was put in a basket and he was put in the Nile, which is full of crocodiles. And Pharaoh's wife. Daughter. Sorry. Thank you. You're always like correcting me. I think. No, I need it. Daughter. It says she was out bathing in the Nile, but then I heard someone say, well, they would never bathe in that water. She was probably out there worshiping the gods. And Moses comes floating around, you know, in his little basket. And he wasn't eaten by the crocodile, so that was significant to her.
So she thinks the gods have chosen this child.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, because they worshipped like crocodile head.
They did.
Well, like it was human body, crocodile head.
Why? Why were these like weird animal human
dog
hybrid things?
Head with human bodies.
Yeah, dog man
head with human bodies.
The Sphinx. It's like, what is that? Yeah,
I don't know.
Super
They're
weird.
all over the world. You know.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother topic to discuss. But
I feel like mermaids fall into that category, right? So there's so much significance now when you learn these things again and you go back to the Bible, you're like, oh my gosh, these stories make so much more sense. And like God is just so wise and like knew exactly what he was doing with all of this and like how to get into the hearts of people. Like that's how Moses was going to get saved. He had to go down this route, had to be in the river, and it had to be at that moment, you know, because he knew like the culture and what they believed and what they worshiped. So yeah.
So much like, there's so much depth to that story too, because it's like, he would have been second. I was like if you study, it seems like he would have been the second son because there was a son that became Pharaoh. And then there was him. And the second son was always raised up as like a high priest. So he would have been trained up in Egyptian dark magic and all of that stuff. And yet like God was like, I'm going to use you now to like overturn and defeat.
I love it.
I know. The very thing that you know about and were brought up in.
Yeah.
The very thing that like all of Egypt worships and fears. So I thought that was like wild.
It is. It's beautiful.
It is.
The way God works, it's like, it's mysterious, but you know, and then you look back at it and you're like, oh, I see what you were doing, God.
Yeah. In hindsight.
In hindsight, it's 2020. Yeah.
So maybe one day we'll know more about mermaids, you know, and if not, I mean, I still think that there's a very real possibility that they're in the ocean. I'm not convinced that they're not there. I'm not fully convinced, like, because I can't prove it. I haven't seen it with my own eyes. But it's like, again, the story is just, there's too many of them. Like, they don't, like, change. Like,
well, they all just, like
similar.
You were saying, they all describe the mermaids with the same characteristics. And and we would love to hear what people think. Like,
tell us your
story. Like, if you have a crazy story or you know of someone that has one, I feel like anyone that's worked in the Navy or works on these fishing boats, like you have to have stories. Like,
Right.
and that's one thing that, Sauce90 on TikTok said. He's like, I guarantee you anyone that's been out to sea for a length of time will have stories of weird things and seen in the night sky because you have no light pollution. So you're going to see all sorts of weird things in the sky flying around. So, yeah. So we
like
love
UFOs going into the water. That's a whole nother thing,
yeah,
too. But like,
people witness UFO, like, unidentified flying objects, whatever it is, coming in and out of the ocean and deep lakes.
and again, it's like, do they look like a saucer or is it like an aircraft of some sort? Either way, it's creepy.
Either way.
The fact that like it's deep enough that like there's a way for them to go.
Well, there's something down there. I mean, there's knees that are going to bow down there. There's sea serpents. There's sirens, And so I don't know. I'm with you. Like, I'm not going to say they're not real. Before I would have said absolutely not. Like, duh. Like, that's not real. Like, I never believed mermaids were real. I grew up by the beach too. Like, it was never a thing.
You love the water.
Yeah. Like, never a thing.
Never saw one.
No.
So.
No. But, most people won't, but it doesn't mean it's not real.
And again, I wonder too if it goes back to just like your bloodline genetics. Like maybe you're more prone to see it based off of, like that grandson and the grandma. Like maybe you're more prone to see something based off of like your bloodline, your genetics, that kind of a thing.
Could be.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Could be.
So.
Yeah. Like you have some sort of like generational tie to them or something. Yeah.
So, I mean, it would make sense.
Yeah. Well, if anyone's listening to this from certain cultures that believe this, like would love to hear like your comments on this because it's fascinating.
It is.
So if I go to the beach, I'm just like, I don't even know anymore. I'm like too freaked out.
Well, just stay on the sandy shore.
I mean, yeah, I'm like at the point, I'm like, okay, ankle high. That's about it for me.
Until you start hearing the singing and it's drawing you.
No.
Calling you to the water.
I don't know if they do that to women though. It's like, I feel like it's always men.
Let's try it with our husbands.
Oh my God.
Just kidding. We'll have a rope around them so we can
creepy.
Reel them back in.
Reel them in. Oh my gosh. Hook them.
Just kidding.
Fish hook them. Yeah. Yeah. Well, this was really fun. I hope people enjoyed this one. We're kind of all over the place with it, but that's because we were still new to learning all this. But man, was it fun to look into. And I'm going to continue, and I know you will too, look into this and piece more together. So if we eventually feel like we want to do a part 2 or have somebody on that has some great knowledge, like Ryan, Sauce90.
Yeah.
So
that'd be cool.
Yeah. So for now, we'll just leave it at that. But yeah, to be continued, hopefully.
Yeah. Okay. Until next time.
Till next time.